All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Shinsekai Yori, episode 16. A letter.
They gone.
Yeah, they super gone. They
Half
super
the world
far
away?
gone. Yeah, we didn't actually see the letter, but it said world what? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
they're probably not anywhere close.
Yeah.
Probably not.
And that has implications, Saki, not just for what the adults are going to potentially say to you, but also just the, they do not trust you at all.
Mm-mm. Nope.
And that's heartbreaking because this show started off with a friend group, and one by one, they're all getting picked away.
It's like the whole like petals being picked off of a flower kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, good luck holding on to everything that you've got left here.
And good luck convincing the adults. Like, really, good luck.
And also, maybe giving them a little bit of a heads up about what's going on with the monster rats, because...
yeah, I imagine they might be a little concerned.
Satoru and you are getting some really premium observations here, but also, you both are smart enough to realize...
You might be in danger.
Yeah, or maybe not you, but... humans in general.
Yeah.
Not maybe anytime soon, but eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Sooner than you might think.
Exactly. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Shit, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not finding them. They're not finding them.
They really aren't.
And they gave their every bit of effort to try and look for them, and got a letter
Yes.
that we had kind of thought there might have not been as much about it in the previous episode, but
No,
no,
this is...
they gave us a full, like, almost backstory
In detail.
montage with narration and everything. Yeah, we now know a lot more about Maria's internal thoughts.
Right. And the thing is that a lot of the stuff is stuff that we could
have
infer.
extrapolated.
We could have extrapolated.
Yeah.
But Maria is being a great friend about this and spelling it out exactly of all of the different factors and, contributions to the situation.
Yeah.
So that way Satoru and Saki can
have some
understand
closure.
and have closure about what happened. Because, no, let's not do that
Don't
shitty
try to
trope.
Don't try to find us. Yeah.
Well, yeah, don't try to find us, but let's not do the shitty story trope of like, oh, the people leave, but then they don't say anything because, whatever. It's like, no, that's a shit thing to do, So, yeah, they're never going to see you again. Well, they'll make sure that they say as much as they think can be said.
Yeah, I am impressed that Maria believes that they're actually going to think that they're dead, but the fact that Yakumaru came up with this five-head genius play of like, okay, here's what you do. Showing how clever they are and how used to they are of maybe lying to the humans.
Yep.
Of basically saying, oh, just say they got caught in an avalanche, fell in a ravine, and you couldn't find their bodies. And then what we'll do is we will take the bones of larger monster rats, scatter a couple of them in specific areas of the avalanche at the very bottom, like way later if they ever eventually end up going to look for them. And then, in order to make sure they actually look more human than they already do, we will finally, sand
scuff
them
them up
down
and-
with stones and shit in order to make sure they look. And the fact that, he's like, oh yeah, I've got an idea. I've got a plan. I've got a way to do this.
Oh,
And
by the way, you want to stay here tonight?
yeah, you should bunk up here. Because, I was just talking about how I could use bones to, hide the murder or the, the unfortunate passing.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Like that was fucking terrifying.
That was absolutely terrifying.
And the fact that they were just like, thank you. No. That's all implied, Immediately next shot just shows them.
Yeah. And it's also them going the next day. He's like, hey, it's getting dark. So that means that they probably literally went all through the night. And they're just like,
we're good.
Yeah, we're good. Hence why they were also
super
tired.
Super tired.
Because no, we do not feel
poor
like
Satoru. He's a he needed this. He needed this sleep.
Yes.
And they might have implied some intimacy
Right.
in that moment there because they did definitely take their clothes off, but that also might just be the No, if they're able to produce enough heat and light and stuff like that, take off their wet, cold clothes, let them dry.
Yep.
You know, they're using their power.
But the last thing before that cut was them embracing in a very panicked fashion. So
right, so
yeah,
it's not really important right now whether or not they did that, but that is something that we noticed.
That is potentially on the table.
Okay.
But so they're still going to try and keep looking for that last day.
Yeah.
To the very end before going back. All right.
Right.
They're not gonna find them, but cool. Of course they'll try.
Okay, so now let's talk about the nightmare. So, this is the thing. Saki has in the past had moments where she, as the narrator, kind of talks about something that's going to happen in the future.
Right.
And it's a very cool way to build suspense, like have a cliffhanger. It's just a very simple thing to say that Saki survives all this shit, but it's a lot of shit.
And she changes.
She changes
as a result of
dramatically,
growing
yes.
up. Yeah.
But one of the things that's been mentioned is that for Maria, it would have been better if she had never been born.
And now the dream person is saying you should kill Maria.
Right. Which is different than the narrator basically stepping out of the future and telling us, the audience, Maria, that's not a premonition. That's not a nightmare dream. That's a, fourth wall beyond time and space.
That's a narrator conclusion about the situation.
Right.
Taking into account everything that will happen in the show.
Right. So we have been waiting for that context for a while, and now we're having a moment where Saki gets potentially pulled outside of her own present situation into something that was a nightmare-fueled, eclipse, berserk style, monsters roam
a whole
land.
Weird acid trip of just fuckery.
But I want to say someone that looked in some ways like a long-haired Satoru. I
did kind of get a Satoru
Did you get that vibe as well?
Yeah.
Potentially giving her a, you need to kill,
Right. And I think the best explanation from the information that we have right now, while we could get new information in the future that explains it in a different way, is that this is the subconscious fears and stuff being made manifest.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so it happens in a dream. Makes sense. That's kind of what dreams are for in a lot of ways.
There's no power involved in it. It's just the fact that she's scared of what's going on.
Because of course they would be.
Yeah, and she's got all these things that she knows about what could happen out here and what has theoretically happened in the past in history and stuff, and maybe what this could do to, the two of them.
To the two of them, and what happens when they go back, And so the idea of like, oh, you need to kill them, that makes a lot of sense as a fear-based response, because then it's okay, maybe they wouldn't buy that they'd be dead because that's kind of out there. If we actually did kill them somehow, then we'd be able to show them that, like, we're not a problem, right? Like, we took care of the situation,
But then also, there's the death of shame. It's the...
Right.
Does she then feel even more sick and make it into a nightmare because she's thinking about that?
Yeah, because the thing about the death of shame is that it's not just that there's retribution for the act, but it's more than anything else preventative, right?
Because it attacks the intent, basically.
Right, exactly. So it's the very idea of that is repulsive and repugnant and all that stuff. So the fact that she's actually dreaming about it either means this is something that is so strong that it's getting past the death of shame,
right?
Or
the death of shame.
The death of shame
weakened.
Is just not really doing what it's supposed to.
Because here's a crazy thought. What if the death of shame is something that's not genetically like written into like the code of like people and stuff like that?
Okay.
It's not something that's inborn. It's something that's brought about by the by the bounds of the villages and stuff.
I think that's...
Because I remember we did get some exposition about this, so maybe we're just...
So the bounds of the village is to deal with the whole...
for sure. I'm talking about them potentially just lying about some things about the death of shame.
I don't think we have to worry about that, because the death of shame we found out from the false Minashiro.
Well, sorry. Not only that, it's literally just not true, because the guy who was the executor went and wasted a whole bunch of monster rats.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that was
Yeah. So I think this has potentially big implications for Saki that she's having these dreams because she's always been talked about as being like, oh, a bit different and things like that.
Yeah.
And hey, that could be anything. It could be something innocuous. It could be something, like just a regular person, different kind of a deal. Mm-hmm. But given the fact that we have psychics in this world, I feel like it's a bit of a tinfoil hat theory that is coming off of some small bits of information of potentially Saki being a highly functioning ogre. But
possibly.
I feel like it lines up and it fits with the stuff that we've gotten thus far.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so strong. You always keep going forward. You're...
She almost didn't make it, basically. There was a point when she was a kid when she was literally about to be chosen as you're broken. It didn't work for you. Yeah.
Exactly. And so what if it's something where this internal strength that she has, all of these things and whatnot, is because she's able to just sort of like psychopath style, criminally asymptomatic, just sort of flip that switch off,
Yep.
And then it's just, oh, there you go. No problem.
Yeah, and it also could have been something where Satoru's grandmother, or even just anyone that she's associated with, could have ran experiments specifically on kids where it's this is our... once we see someone as being a problem at the early ages when they don't necessarily have great power yet, so they're not really a threat yet, we could then get and implant some things and basically start being more direct, and then it's we let this experiment play out, and then it's group 1 wasn't really an experiment for just this setup in general.
Right. There could be
because of the things
multiple factors at play in the test group.
Right.
Not the control group. Yeah, the test group that they have as group 1. So yeah, I would not be surprised by that.
So another thing to think about. But yes, there's the other fun thing as well, where there's been power that's been utilized to implant ideas.
Yep. And so this could be other people. This could be Satoru's dreams. This could be the adults, doing some remote shit.
Yeah, there's a couple things I thought of here. One is the idea of they showed another bird, kind of this episode. This is my paranoid brain basically saying that there's potential that anytime they show an animal that's watching them that's nearby, it's something that they basically used to be a spy to watch them and things like that.
That's true.
So that was done whenever they got to the boats. The next thing is that Satoru and Saki were separated for a point there. Satoru doesn't necessarily have to have been just simply interrogated. Satoru could have been specifically given some things so that he is basically on a mission, and she's getting the leakage of that fear in her own nightmares and stuff.
And if you think about it, Saki was thinking about how she was worried because group one and her parents are kind of her whole world, right?
Yep.
Now group 1's reduced to just Satoru. Well, if you were to think about something that would then be we still have a number of episodes left in this show. Don't have many group 1 members left. They're not going to get Maria and Mamoru back. That's not happening, right?
Yeah, unless something really, really
something
big
really
changes.
Crazy happens, that's we can pretty much assume that is not an option.
Yeah.
So then what happens with Satoru? Are we just going to have conflict with monster rats, because that could happen. It could just be that they go back and they tell them about the monster rats and they're like, oh shit, this is a problem.
I think we go through another time skip again and we show them as young adults getting more and more
inducted into the society.
Well, right, but also getting more and more intimate to the point where they start building a family of their own, and then the story kind of shifts a little bit towards the thing that Maria brings up is the fear of your own children, basically, so that they then come to the full circle of realizing.
Now we're the adults in the situation. What do we do?
Yeah, because Saki's voice is an adult's voice,
right? And not just an adult, but she's
a middle-aged adult at the very least. At the very least, I could say that she's probably going to be 40. That's my guess.
I would say 40 is the minimum for me.
Yeah,
it could go all the way up to 400.
Sure.
It's the, it to me, it sounds like the grandma voice. That could be just finicky stuff because we're just hearing the voice. So, maybe not read into that too much.
Totally. And we don't have 400-year-old voice actors, so.
Well, no, I know, but.
Yes. And just in general, voice actors go through a lot of stress and stuff like that. So even that it probably would be just a 30 to 40-year-old voice actress who's
Well, no, it could be like a
acting-
60-year-old.
Well, right, but the voice actress for Saki probably right now is not necessarily, 20, so...
Well, no, yeah. The voice actress for Saki, even though Saki is a child,
Sorry,
obviously
dumb
this
tangent
voice
to go
actress
on.
is not a child.
Right, but
you know?
my point specifically is that at some point the story needs to catch up to that before we just do the last, 5 minutes of the final episode.
Sure,
Like,
where we skip way into the future, where it's Saki then looking at
Where is
the
she
society
now?
that she's now become a part of
Exactly,
and helps cultivate and
yeah, that can still happen, but it's probably going to build up to that a little bit before that happens.
Yep.
And I loved the nightmarish setting and environments and stuff.
It's like this episode was, even though it was very sad and emotional and everything, it was calm, right? It was relaxing. Why did we need to have this just thrown in there? It's like the show's like, we don't want them to get too comfortable. Like, we want to make sure that they remember what kind of show this is.
Because I think it's very important to be reminded that thematically, this is where the story is going on some level. There's going to be a point where either probably a karmic demon, but some kind of thing that's been the after effects of the adult society that they've created because of this experiment with the kids, leading towards a dramatic, dark conclusion that won't literally be this, but it will be something on the same thematic level, because Shun was not a 1 in a million. In some ways, he was the 1 in 6. And that's the really
group one.
Well, right, but it's that any one of them could get to that point again, theoretically.
Right, and from the bits that we have been given about the karmic demons, it's a newer thing. It's a thing that does seem to be accelerating. So if we did have another example of that before the end of the show, that would make sense.
And
I feel like
Satoru could potentially fit the bill depending on what's going on inside him, because we don't get his perspective really.
Given that it's this late into the show, though, I think there's a decent chance that we might not, and I wouldn't be surprised if something that we did end up needing to deal with at some point in this show would be an ogre, because the only example of the ogre that we've had is in the backstory of Satoru's grandma, right, which was hundreds of years ago.
Right.
And so if we have something like that in the present, I would be very curious to see how the society nowadays would need to deal with something like that, how Saki would deal with it, how Satoru would deal with it, that whole thing. But all
right, that's chilling stuff. And then the search continues, and we got one more day. But all right. Y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below. For our Patreon, you can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.